Battle of the Worlds, directed by Anthony Dawson, aka Antonio Margheriti, one of his very first features, an attempt at a science fiction feature starring Casablanca's own Claude Rains. The film contains some decent efforts at framing unique set design, and there is a novelty fun to be had observing the affair in general, although it is mostly visually which the film holds one's, certainly my, interest, and the visuals do repeat themselves more or less, eventually. Let's read out some IMDb reviews, the three earliest here, posted for this film. Watching Italian sci-fi is like taking a candy-striped drug trip. I'm very tired of Italian science fiction getting a bad rap for being dull films. Just sit back and let yourself be hypnotized by the world that a film like Battle of the Worlds creates, and I guarantee you will find yourself on a trip to the end of the universe. The sound effects and the use of color alone will have you wishing this film will never end, and it almost seems it doesn't. That's from the Big Cube on 11th of October 2001. He gives it 8 out of 10. He or she gives it 8 out of 10. They give it 8 out of 10. Some of my favourite cheese from Sci-Fi Guy-2 on the 31st of August 2002, giving it 6 out of 10. I happened to see this many times in the 1960s at kiddie matinees in the theatre. Imagine 50 cents for a triple feature every weekend for years on end. There were a lot of dog films, but this one stood out with decent effects and unique sound effects. That's true. It's one of the earliest space operas depicting dogfighting ships in space, preceded only by the 1959 Toho production of Battle in Outer Space. Oh, that's a good one. Say what you want about the bad voice dubbing and the unknown Italian cast. Films like this were not being produced in the US during this period due to lack of effects technology and budget constraints. At this time, it was a bold attempt in a genre that was just beginning. Jaded modern viewers should see this in context given the history of fantasy films. Pure science fiction was rare during this period and was a treat for fans at the time. Claude Rains has some very good dialogue as a cynical mathematician guiding efforts to thwart alien invaders. He is quite fun. The ships are well conceived, with the footage reused in later films. Unfortunately, the editing is choppy, and the video transfers that exist are very poor. It would be nice to see a widescreen restoration. Finally, a 6 out of 10 from Vigilante-407 on the 22nd of October 2002. Tries to be intelligent SF, but the one problem with Battle of the Worlds is that it tries to be a lot of things and doesn't quite pull any of them off. It tries to be a regular Italian space opera. It tries to be intelligent science fiction. Claude Rains definitely tries to make it a monodrama. Unfortunately, the script doesn't let it be any of these things, and Claude's overacting makes you almost want to take a swing at the poor guy. I'm hoping that he had a good time while he did this movie, since it was really his last film. Oh, I guess I wasn't aware, because it really was fun to watch him in this movie. Yeah. His performance as a cantankerous pajama-wearing genius of a hermit who can answer any problem through calculus just didn't help things, and his character's attitude toward everything that wasn't math or himself making me wonder why his co-workers didn't lock him up in a rubber room. The effects are a little on the lock quality side, and even considering the general quality of Italian sci-fi movie SFX, but they don't really detract that much from the movie. I think that'll do for now. You can get an impression of this film, a sufficient impression from my screen caps, no doubt. Thank you all. I hope everyone is well.